Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics of the week. This week is weird. I don't know what to say. It's like really weird list. One of them is just like, what were they thinking? Yeah, I got to get into it. We'll go from number 10. First is World's Finest number 44. This is from DC Comics 1950. It is a Win Mortimer cover, and it was also featured in The Seduction of the Innocent. Now, the reason it was featured in The Seduction of the Innocent is Wortham felt like Batman and Robin had an inappropriate homosexual relationship. So there was a scene, one of the panels that he referenced was Batman was lying on a couch and Robin was sitting next to him. And he felt like that was somehow homoerotic. It's not me. I didn't say this. It's just a weird thing that Frederick Wortham said about this book. Now, if you're not familiar with The Seduction of the Innocent, it is really the book that ended the golden age of comics. It led to the Comic Code Authority. So this was one of the books that was cited in The Seduction of the Innocent, this World's Finest 44, that led to the end of the golden age. So crazy stuff. This was a 3.0 that sold, and it sold for $339, which is a major new record. The previous record was set back in January of 2017 for $120. So this is 3 times what it had sold for in the past. Now this book has gone up, but I would have expected it to go for more, around that 200, maybe 250 range. So this is quite a substantial sale. There are 32 universals on the census and 37 altogether. Number 9 on the list is Erie Comics number 17. This is from Avon, 1954. This is a headlight cover. It's actually one of my favorite covers from the run. It is the last issue in the series as well. And it later becomes a new title called Strange Worlds, or Stranger Worlds. This was a 3.5 that sold, and it sold for $559. Now, this is a pretty strong sale as well. The previous record for this book was set back in June of 2024 for $288. So about double what it sold for just a few months earlier. Not a bad sale. There are 26 of these on the census, and 25 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Shock Suspense Stories number 5 from EC Comics 1952. It is a Wally Wood cover, and it's a hanging cover. Now, hanging covers for people who collect pre-code horror are kind of special. So people deliberately will collect hanging covers. And this is a good one. You got the guy front and center hanging. It's a pretty cool one. Now, this one is a really odd sale. I mean, we're talking very odd, because this was an 8.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,603.99. We'll just round it to $1,604. However, this book had kind of a weird sales history. Previously, it sold for a record high of $2,000 in June of this year, June 2024. The same book. So the same book that had a previous record of 2,000, but then the person must have resold it, but they resold it in July, and when they sold it in July, they got $1,492. So the person that originally sold it lost like almost $500 on the sale, and then the person who bought it after that, it recovered about $100. So up and down, I don't know. It's like the same book just keeps on selling and selling. It's not normal that you see the same book flip in in the Golden Age 3 times in 1 year. It's very odd. There's 158 of these on the census, and 149 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Lone Ranger #1. Dell, 1948. This is the first ongoing title for the Lone Ranger. It's not his first appearance. Actually, his first appearance was in Lone Ranger #1, which was a comic created by an ice cream company, but it was also the first Western comic devoted to a Western character. That was in 1938. So this is 10 years later, but it is his first ongoing titled book. This was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $790. The previous record for this book was set back in January of 2022 for $565. Now, the interesting thing was this same book had a sale in July of 2024 for $288. So kind of similar to the previous one, somebody picked it up cheap and then flipped it. So this one, they tripled their money, and it also set a new record. So very interesting book. There's 117 of these on the census, and 116 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is All-Star Comics #12. This is from DC Comics 1942. It's a Jack Burnley cover. And in it, Wonder Woman becomes the JSA's secretary. And it has a full ad for Wonder Woman #1 inside as well. So this is an early Wonder Woman appearance. It's like her 3rd cover appearance, I believe. Very early on for Wonder Woman. So this was a 4.5 that sold with white pages, and it sold for $825, which is slightly up. This is not a major record because the previous record was set back in June of 2021 for $780. So it's actually down if you look at inflation. You would expect this book to maybe have sold for more, closer to $1,000 range, but it's still up. It's a new record, but really, if you go by inflation, it's kind of down. There's 102 of these on the census, and 86 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is 4-Color #33. This is from Dell Comics, 1943. It is a classic story for Bugs Bunny, and it's him being a public nuisance #1. So yeah, just a cool Bugs Bunny story. This was an interesting one because originally it was a 2.5, and originally the person had a best offer of $1,000 on eBay for this one. So pretty pricey valuation that they put on it. But then they accepted an offer of $425. So almost 60% off what they originally wanted for the book. Just a major drop. But actually, even with that major drop in price, it is a new record because there's no previous sales. But if you compare it to a 4.0 sale, which happened in February of 2022, 4.0 sold for $409. So this is actually higher than that 4.0 sale, even with that discount. So I think, sometimes I think that's a bit of a way of tricking people. You put a really high price and then you cut it. And then people think, oh, I'm getting a huge discount, but really it's still at a record high price. So beware, people. Beware. There are 37 of these on the census, and 33 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Sensation Comics #18. This is from DC Comics 1943. It is a G.H. Peter cover, and it's an interesting one with these Aztec warriors and Wonder Woman saving, looks like an Aztec woman. Just a really cool cover, actually. This was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,870. This is a pretty strong sale. Like back in 2015, this book was selling for around $400. Then in 2023, it had gone up. In September of 2023, it sold for $1,665. So this is a new record, about $200 above what it had previously sold for. So pretty strong sale for this book, about 10%, over 1 year. Not too bad. There are 31 of these on the census, and 27 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Astonishing number 30. This is from Atlas, which is a Marvel comic company. This is from 1954. It is a really cool classic cover with these floating eyes and this guy in a cemetery. I'm not sure why he's in the cemetery, but he's in the cemetery. And these eyes are kind of staring down at him with these weird laser beams and just melting the flesh off the guy. It's just, he's getting incinerated. So it's a really, interesting cover, very classic pre-code horror cover, highly sought after. Now this was a 1.8, and it sold for $2,500, I think. I cannot verify the exact amount because GPA doesn't show what the best offer was that was accepted. And Go Collect doesn't either. So it's just listed at $2,500. I'm not sure. It could be around that price. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in October of 2022 for $1,200. So, this is about double what that previous book had sold for. Even a 1.0 sells for around $500. So, and the last sale for that was in May of 2022. So this is a really strong sale, regardless if they took the best offer and maybe it was a little bit cheaper. Just a really strong sale for this book. There's 75 of these on the census, and 73 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list, I was debating about this book, whether I should put it on the list, because it's not really a Golden Age book, but I'll get into it. This is Detective Comics number 225. It's from DC, 1955. It actually came out in later end of 1955. Really, anything pre-March of 1955 is considered Golden Age. Now, this is one of those early coded books, so it has the large code on it. It's a Win Mortimer cover, but it's one of those ones where it's sort of kind of at the end of the Golden Age. It is the first appearance of the Martian Manhunter. That's the major key about this book. This was a 2.0 that sold, and it sold for $2,675, which is a massive sale for this book. This book had actually been on a kind of a slide, like a downturn, I should say. The previous record for it was set back in November of 2019 for $2,000. So this is way up from that previous record, about 30% above. However, the last sale for this book in August, just a few weeks earlier, August 4th actually, the last sale was for $1,700. So this is almost up $1,000 from what it sold for just earlier this month. So really, this book has recovered and set new records. So really, really great sale for this book. There's 364 of these on the census, and 308 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Now, number 1 on this list is a crazy book. I am not really sure about this one. I'm not even sure if I should report it because it's just too crazy. This was a Batman 1. And it was from, it's DC Comics, 1940. It's a Bob Kane cover. It's the first appearance of the Joker, first appearance of the Cat, and the first time you get Batman in his solo series, where it's, a Batman title. So lots going for this book. This is a great book, usually an insanely expensive book. This was a 1.5 that sold, and it sold for $25,000. Now, I'm not sure about this book. There's a lot of weird things about it, but it seems like it was a legitimate sale. The other weird thing about this book is somebody signed the slab, and not just any somebody, Stan Lee. I don't know why you would get a Batman 1 signed with Stan Lee, but I guess they didn't have a piece of paper to get signed, or some other like Marvel title, so they got a Bat 1 signed by Stan Lee. It's really weird. It's just a really weird one. This one had brittle pages, so that's something to denote about it. But man, 25,000 is really low for this book. Typically, Bat 1s, even in really low grade, sell for over $100,000. So this one was listed at $25,000 on eBay. So buy it now for $25,000. That's insane. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. The previous record for this book was set back in July of 2022 for $103,200. Just like, doesn't even make sense that this. So this one actually got flagged on Go Collect, where they said, like, this is an outlier sale, doesn't make any sense. They actually had this big disclaimer about this book. So just a really weird one. Why is it signed by Stan Lee? Why did they take such a cut on the price? It just seems like an insane price, like 1/4. It just doesn't even make sense. This book does have some fluctuation where prices go up and down, but not that much. Like, not like going to be like, give it away basically. Just a really crazy one. If I had seen this, I would have actually bought this, because it's, you never see it. You could flip it. You could flip it for 100,000 and make money, because it consistently sells for over 100,000. Just a crazy sale. What do you think? Do you think the sale was even real? I don't even know. I don't know. I'm not claiming this is a real sale. It looks real. The seller looks legit. Everything looks right. But what was going on? What were they thinking? Okay, so I'd love to hear your comments in the comments below. By the way, there are 309 of these on the census, and 146 of them are universal blue labels. So what did you think of the list? Was it a bit weird, this last one? Especially signed by Stan Lee? What is going on? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.